and Toyota. Extreme Off-Road is proudly presented by Nissan, Ford and Toyota. Class S for beam axle trailing arm front suspension special vehicles is expected to grow in 2005, with reigning champion Zane Noble from Botswana one of the favourites for class and possibly overall victory. Noble has matured somewhat, and his performances in the Chevrolet LS1 V8 powered Abe's Furniture Aceco have seen him outqualify the rest of the field and lead races on occasion. Veteran Nardis Alberts and Colin Hunter will again be in action in the Rapsa Raceco, in which Greg Dowse and VZ Van Sale previously won the Toyota 1000 Desert Race. The lightweight VW Type 4 powered vehicle is a strong contender for Class S honours. Multiple Roof of Africa Rally winner and former champion Richard Schilling believes he now has the perfect vehicles to win the Class S championship and even win overall under ideal circumstances.
Yeah, no, last year was really a downer. We had a car which I think we normally ended up being rather competitive in Class S, but I think that I had to accept that for nationals it wasn't really the right car. The car is subsequently sold, doing well in regionals, but I made a decision after the Roof of Africa, I'd followed Nardis Alberts in an S-Class, that it was time to go to America and get another chassis. Some good friends of a few people here in South Africa called Scalzo helped me, and I bought a chassis there, took a lot of the componentry out of the old car, and have now had the pleasure, and I really do enjoy it, of building this new car which you see behind me here. Looking at the back suspension, pretty conventional, but what I have tried to do is to make the car very light, being quite a heavyweight, and my navigator, new navigator, Chris Davies, we're big guys. We need to somehow find a way of saving weight. So the car has been designed to be as light as possible. It's also been designed to be robust, reliable, and I think not as quick as the top S-Class, but certainly close. It runs a Fortin gearbox, a Nissan engine, not the Nissan that the S-Class run, but an engine which has been tuned. The car has 12-inch front shocks, but they don't have the lay forward or lay back design. They have a design which allows progression. I'm still a great believer in the beam axle, and I feel that unless it is extremely rough, a beam axle should be able to keep up with an A-arm car. The back suspension of the car is very similar to all the modern cars. Front, as I say, beam, a strong beam. It's welded in the car, and having had a bit of a bad experience with an A-arm car which injured me, I'm very comfortable being back in a beam car.
Reigning Class B champions Marcus Taylor and Mark de Chalane will have their work cut out to stay ahead of a bunch of new contenders in Class B.
Yeah, last year, having clinched the Class B championship for the second time, we were quite looking forward to 2005, but it looks like the guys have come out all guns blazing for this season. A whole bunch of new cars from the Zarco guys. Orco have put out a new car with a couple of guys who are looking to be quite serious and competitive. And then, of course, we can never discount the guys from the BAT side. It looks like it's going to be a wide open championship, highly competitive, I think probably even more so than last season, which can only be beneficial to the sport. Obviously, we're looking to go out with a well-prepped car and make it as effective as we can for the season for ourselves. Well, I think we're certainly hoping that the driver is going to be the influential part in this championship this year. But I think, as we've seen, with the technology improving as rapidly as it has, I think this year is probably going to be the first season where the technology is really going to start to tell. I think our car is getting a little bit long in the tooth to run at the pace that these front guys are able to run now. So we're definitely going to have to count on the driving ability.
Former quad champion Evan Hutchison these days prefers to sit inside rather than on top of his racing equipment.
Yeah, we've put together a new team, Motorrad Racing, for the year. Very professional operation. We're going to run in Class B. We've decided to run in Class B instead of Class A in that we believe that it's going to be difficult to win Class A this year. There's so much competition, so we've opted to run Class B. We've got a brand new bat. It's going to be powered by a 2-litre Nissan motor. So I believe that with the package we put together, we'll have a very good chance. And our plan is to get as much exposure as we can for our sponsor Motorrad this year. In fact, in that they've come on board with a very big professional operation, and we need to try and keep them in the sport. So that's our plan for the new year.
Hutchison faces stiff competition from Bodo Berthold, who's been racing since the 70s.
I've been wanting to go back. It's been a question of the funds. Now the funds are there and the car's there. Now we're keen to go back. Well, I've been racing for more than 30 years, and Paul has been my co-driver for many, many of those years, for most of those years actually. We've won a couple of races together. We've done pretty well, won a couple of championships. And he builds the cars very well, and he builds them to suit me. I mean, he fits everything. And, you know, before we started building, I sort of gave him a brief, and that is we're going to build a Class B car. But the brief was this: in the rough, the car must be able to keep up with any Class A car. In other words, we're talking about suspension and brakes. And that's what he set out to do. We can't catch those big V8 motors along the straights and everything like that, but we certainly want to be with them in the tight stuff and in the rough stuff. That's the objective.
All the suspension arms and everything is made out of Domex 700, which is quite a nice steel, but it's 2.5 times as strong as normal steel for the same weight. Now, all these, when we go to the suspension arms, this is all Domex, 3mm Domex. It's fabricated. All the pivots, everything, it runs 20mm pivot bolts. The shocks is Bilstein, fully adjustable. Coil springs all over. This one fits on the bottom arm. That one fits on the top arm on a cantilever system. And the one that lies flat in the frame is also adjustable as far as the bump and rebound of the thing is concerned. So we can play around with the suspension quite a lot. Seeing that I designed the car as a Class B car, I want to get rid of all the excess weight on the outside, or the ratio between the sprung and the unsprung weight. The sprung weight is normally your outside wheel that runs up and down. We did away with all the coil springs, everything that we got on the rear suspension. We've got inboard suspension, again with coil springs, fully adjustable. A link system that runs on the torsion bar on the inside there. And another link that comes back to the rear arm. The height of the car is controlled by adjusting this link here. Then what we've got here, which is now out at the moment, is we fit a shock absorber from that point to that point, which is a bypass shock. It runs a multitude of bypass inside the shock absorber. And having that, we can have the car to run very hard or very soft. On the lower stuff, when the car is set up for normal running height, it's normally soft. As the thing comes up, gradually it gets harder and harder. The engine, we're running a Subaru EJ20. This particular one is a prototype that Subaru built in the late 90s. Runs a dual inlet manifold system per cylinder, gives you more torque. According to Subaru, this engine develops 116 kilowatt at 5,200 RPM, and it also develops 230 Newton meters of torque at 3,500 RPM, which is what you need in off-road. You need the torque.
Gerard and Zelda Niemand will also be in action in one of the new Orcos, which will be powered by a 2-litre Mazda motor.
Yes, we're planning to race 2 of them here in South Africa, and I'm very excited about it, because from the testing that we've done, we found that it's a very competitive car. It still needs a little bit of work to do, but all new cars do. And we're really looking forward to the competition in Class B. And we're really planning to be out in front. Well, I'll be driving the car. My wife Zelda will be navigating. We've got a couple of sponsors on board, which will help us this year with the car preparation and everything else. And basically we're going to run the 2 cars as a team, using the same service crews and everything else, which will help cut the cost and stuff. And that's how we're planning to do it this year.